I'm gonna wait for people to join before I start speaking. Turn up the notch. You have a lot of nerve joining this live right now. It's Buff Healthy. Every time I go on live or upload a video, he's right there. Love it. He's cool. Promise. Yes. I feel there's a lot of explaining to do on a lot of things, and I'm going live to do this, considering that, well, it just kind of helps out in general, considering, you know, people can look back on this video and see what's going on. But I just kind of want to explain my disappearance a little bit. Well, I hope you're in my closet. So, okay, there's 4 concurrent viewers right now. That's fine. I'm in his closet. So for those of you that are watching this outside of the stream, I've had this huge turning point, and I just realized my mic has been muted. Wait a minute. Okay, there. Just realized this whole time I was muted. My streaming software did not pick up anything, so it's fine. It isn't? Then how the hell was it picking up my voice? Okay. Huh, strange. So I've had a lot of personal matters go on with my life as of the past couple of months. So as far as going on YouTube and creating any sort of content, I haven't managed to literally manage my time. And I realize, now that I'm looking back on it, I think I did. I did have time to manage, and I just honestly lacked motivation and a drive like I used to have. And it's honestly something I want to return to, and that's why I'm on Blender right now. But what? I feel that I've made kind of some mistakes throughout time. I hope my camera isn't picking up any of this, but long story. I feel that I can pick up on what I've kind of left behind, especially considering, I mean, I'm going to be completely dead set honest. I mean, I kind of died on YouTube. Like, I stopped uploading completely. The last upload was, I think, 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. And then prior to that, it's like 5 months ago. Yeah, I kind of fell off really hard. I hope you can't. I hope you can't. I don't know. I think I just kind of got lost with myself. I couldn't figure me out. Responsible for several war crimes. I am. If I say that out loud, I just did. So. I don't know. I don't know. I think I've done some questionable things behind the scenes as far as my own personal life is concerned. I feel like I'm having like a crash out or like a burn or like a meltdown on here. It's kind of weird, but I'm not. I'm good. Like, I promise you. Like, those that are watching after the stream's over, I'm good. I'm fine. I promise. But now I did. I think I just needed time to put my head together and put me together before I could do anything else. And the other night, I kind of had this random thought of animating again because I was looking at a Transformers Prime clip, and I was like, let's redo that. Let's do that. So I was like, okay, let's have it meltdown is normal for someone who's met Buff Helpy. Probably, but I don't know. I mean, I've kind of reached a weird turning point with my personal life, and I feel that I need to kind of correct things and get back on my drive with animation and everything else. And today I was actually supposed to be in work, and my boss ended up saying, hey, you're good to stay off because of how cold the temperature is, which, those that don't know, I live in Florida. And then, yeah, last night I got the sudden idea where I was like, screw it, I'm gonna start animating again. Except I'll live stream it and probably talk through the process and maybe talk to you guys about some of my personal things and some things that are just going up. And if you have any questions, ask away, because that's where we're at right now. Now I'm gonna find a Transformers Prime clip while the chat has fun down there. You're gonna get banned off of YouTube. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely call you and let you know. I definitely want to see what you got. I'm definitely curious on that. What character do you think would have been interesting to see in Prime? Honestly, Jetfire. In my honest opinion. No, I will genuinely call you, or you call me whenever I'm done with the stream, and I'll text you and let you know when I'm done. So yeah, call me whenever I get done, and I'll tell you when. Because I definitely want to catch up with you and talk to you about some personal things too. Is Afterfall ever coming back? It's shelved. I don't really know yet. Me and my team are kind of just putting everything on the back burner for now with that. So, yeah. The channel uploaded nothing and it's still getting better than Galvatron's Revenge. I did. It's not exactly. It's the C word for now. Skyfire's relationship with Starscream would have been interesting to see, especially in Starscream's Rogue arc. Yes, that would have been very interesting to see. That would have been very, very interesting to see, because I think Jetfire and Starscream, like, because of the fact that, like, Dreadwing even betrayed the Decepticons, I feel like even Jetfire would kind of like team up with Dreadwing in that kind of case scenario if it was like a whole different plot. But it would have been cool to see, definitely. I kinda want to animate a scene from episode 18 on TFP.
Removing Bumblebee and
It's not
replacing
like
him
the right
with.
thing.
Bet those cons were disappointed not to find one of their own inside.
Smokescreen, do you know of Alpha Triton's fate?
This is what I wanted to animate. Yes. Lino, I hope that clarifies for you. I like your project. I think it's nice. I think it'll definitely work out pretty good. Definitely a good start. Just keep working at YouTube video downloader. Let's keep working at some of your movements. Other than that, you're good. Why? What happened to all the YouTube video downloaders? It's like some of the sites got taken down. I would love to see Jetfire just try to keep Starscream's sanity intact and talk him out of doing stupid shit, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, that would have definitely been a... that would have definitely been a interesting thing to see. Is like a negotiation between Starscream and Dreadwing and Jetfire and all them. Like at that point in the stick, like I feel like honestly, like I said, like if Dreadwing could have actually negotiated a deal, it definitely would have came out pretty nice to see.
Thank you, fellow Autobot. Your valor is to be commended.
I don't believe it. You're Optimus Prime.
Thank you, fellow Autobot. Your...
I don't exactly know which shot of this episode I want to animate yet. I don't know if I want to do the Alpha Trion scene where he was talking about Alpha Trion.
Next thing I knew, I'm hitting solid ground. Distance pod.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided...
You have a couple of converters? Yeah, go ahead and send them my way. I'd love to use those. Thank you. For saying that. Honestly, you gotta chill. You can't be saying none of that on here. So, sorry to tell you this, but before you get screwed, don't. Drags, actually, I just realized Jetfire was in TFP. He would be humongous if he was still a shuttle. Yeah, he would be. He would be huge. Yeah, they are.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... I hope to God I still have it, because... because I accidentally deleted a drive full of like a lot of things that I have. I think that's another reason why I lost a lot of motivation to keep going with animation and such, is because I ended up deleting a drive with a lot of useful information on it. So, let's see if I can find it. Okay, good, I still have it. Is the texture still there? Yeah. Yeah, everything's intact. Be honest, is saying stuff like this why Karen doesn't let me see the kid? Probably. Probably. I don't know. What I need to do is I need to recreate this entire base and like remodel everything in here with actual PBR textures and stuff, especially all these, because you can tell these are just outlines with like array modifiers. Is it? Oh no. Well, it definitely was, but it looks like it's applied. I thought it was the heaps of unpaid child support. Nope. Alright. You posted the converter link here? I'm not seeing anything. Send it to me on Discord. This is the custom model that Shaker made. I can't exactly tell. Okay, yeah, this is it. Till that Starscream is pretty much smaller than a typical jet. Should be. If he was accurately sized, he would tower over both Megatron and Optimus. I think I saw that one of the concept arts where he was like supposed to be like huge. How tiny is he? Oh, better question, how big is he? Oh. Shit, got it. I'm going to pin that message because I need that. So, thank you. Damn, the textures look good. I asked the CEO of Hasbro why the scale's so wacky in Transformers. He shot me in the face. How are you alive? Did he miss? That's not it. It's been a while since I've used this ratchet, so I'll use this one with his wonky proportioned legs. Okay, there he is. To pull up a side screen so that way I can see what I'm animating. There we go. Where do you think of these out-of-pocket, like, random things from? Like, it just comes out of nowhere. It's great, don't get me wrong, I'm just confused on where your thought process is coming from. Oh, really? That's it? Oh, wow, he's huge. What kind? It's been so long since I've animated anything Transformers. I need to keep my head in check on this one because it's been a while. It's a good thing I still remember the controls on Blender. I don't think I want to answer that. Thanks for asking, though. So if I may ask, of course, I'll be so blunt about it. He's like, oh yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Stop, because you sound like Hugby saying that. Does his eyes not have bones? Okay. Looks like I gotta rig that too. And his shoulder's still up. That's strange. They really look wonky. I need to remodel a lot of this stuff. He has dual pose on, so that makes things a lot easier with posing him. What HC? HC. What do you mean? I'm out of the loop, kind of. It's been a while. Like headcanon? Hmm. Okay. So what headcanon do you have of Transformers? Okay, like the models I have, like the 3D assets?
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon. Warship must have picked. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Why is my mom texting me? Good.
The Decepticon.
For me, I like to think as gold basically transforms to catnip. Like fun things about the characters that don't actually exist in canon. I could like go into a deep dive detail about like my own custom story that I'm thinking of. My little brother and I, we actually do this thing where we've got our own series where the characters such as like Orion, Pax, and a couple of others turn into like humans and stuff like that, and I've always wanted to make that a reality. So like Orion is like a descendant from Optimus Prime, obviously, not a descendant, but like before Optimus. But there's another character named Orion Pax that shares characteristics to Optimus too. And there's another character named Omega Prime that also shares characteristics to him as well. So I've come up with this like plot in my head where there's the Matrix of Leadership, Matrix of Power, Matrix of Strength. So it's things like that. It's this whole, I'd be going on for hours about it.
The Decepticon. The Decept. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod speak and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod speak and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
What are you saying over there?
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would
The peanut butter. What? What?
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Speaking of head cannons, I like to think Subterraneans have magnetic paw pads to help cling to creators when small. Yeah, that's not a bad way of thinking. I actually like that. That's cool.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon. And guided it to Earth.
Which would.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
What? I'm sorry, did you make a lab in elementary school?
Which would explain smoke.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee. Bet those cons were disappointed not to find one of their own inside.
Smokescreen, do you know of Alpha Trion's fate after the fall of Iacon?
I wish I did. But that was the last I ever saw of him.
The Decepticon... The Decepticon... The Decepticon... The Decepticon... The Decepticon...
He needs a new shape key. What exactly did you do to get to this point?
The Decepticon warship warship the Decepticon warship must have picked picked up the picked up the pods beacon. The pod beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon...
Oh, so they are an individual things, okay. Alright, well, they're not on bones, but at least it...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee. Bet those cons were disappointed not to find one of their own inside.
Smokescreen, do you know of Alpha Trion's fate?
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth. The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
So the texturing is correct, but the lighting is not. Actually, that light can go. So can this one. Area light. Oh, I have another light. Where? Fill-in. It seems too dark over there, though, so I'm gonna put a light over here, adjust the brightness. There.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Still feels too dark.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
That's not bad.
Which would explain...
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon.
Grenade!
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Hold on, I just carjacked some orange. Be able to pay, I might be able to escape. What?
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee. Bet those cons were disappointed not to find one of their own inside.
The Decepticon The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Alright, it just looks like he's kind of there. I don't know, I don't really like it because of the lighting. I feel like there needs to be a light over here, maybe like a small one. Give him some life. Instead of making him look like he's standing behind some shadow.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up...
Yeah, well, there is, but it's like not bright enough. That's better.
the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to...
And again, over here it looks like too bright. It's this light.
to Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided it to Earth.
first.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming committee. Bet those cons were just... Which... Which would
Earth.
Which would explain Smokescreen's welcoming. Which would
What did you try posting?
try typing it again. Just reword a couple of things, I guess.
Which would explain smoke screens welcome, which would explain smoke. Screens welcoming committee, which would explain smoke screens.
I have not. I'll take a look at that here in a second.
Which would explain. Which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee, which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee, which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee, which would explain smoke screens welcoming, which would explain smoke screens which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee. Bet those which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee, 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 it explains smoke screens welcoming committee, smoke screens welcoming committee, it explains smoke screens welcoming committee, explains smoke, which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee,
Did it to Earth.
which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee.
The Decepticon warship must have picked up the pod's beacon and guided
I know it's laggy.
it to Earth.
Which would explain smoke screens welcoming committee.
Yeah. Well, I figured you'd get the notif. I've had a lot going on. I explained at the beginning of my stream. I don't know. Not too long. I plan on hopping off here soon. If you don't mind joining in with Subbar. Alright, I'm about to call you both. Bye. Let me do something real fast, then I'll get you guys in.
There's
That was
one.
fast.
There's two!
Can't hear
Well,
anything.
look who it is.
There we go. Because I wanted to, why not? Told you guys I was going on a hiatus. But I probably am going to end the stream here, so that way I can... So...